as an influencer, is it their duty or responsibility to fact check before putting out stuff they paid to do?
Listen, I think something like that in Ghana will be very difficult, because in Ghana, democracy is such that it is not the people who usually fight back. It's usually the system, like the courts. That one I can. It's about, but in everything there should be limits, and. This place
exactly
the line they would
exactly they might probably like freeze your account. DLS Wave, another day, another episode, and we are back
again.
All right, too slow today, but it's all right. We'll take it. Doesn't matter. So yeah, fresh off the internet, Kenyan President William Ruto is tightening control of social media, in Kenya, and it's all because of, as he puts it, like violent and hateful and unbalanced content. Meaning there's a lot of hate speech, there's a lot of abuse going on the internet pertaining to social media. So it goes without saying, right? The state of social media now is getting a little bit too crazy. What do you think? How do you see the state now? When you look at social media, is it doing more good than harm, or is the opposite?
I have a friend, who says it, and since he said that, it has really stuck with me. Social media has actually exposed how stupid people are, without thinking about anybody's feeling or anything. You understand? And that is the side we need to control, because if, let's say, schools throughout the country try to educate kids how to be nice to each other, respect people's opinion and all that, right? Respect people's opinion, not stupid opinions, but opinions, right? And you go on social media and somebody just wants to say or insult you without even knowing you and stuff. It needs to be controlled. And then you go back to a country like Rwanda, what radio did to them, right? Then nobody should tell you that social media can do even worse. So it needs some controlling.
Yeah. So what he's saying is that it's like most people are misinforming the world about Kenyan activities. So it's more like they're putting out, government activities out there, and it's false, literally. So you think it's just the government trying to control, information about activities being done by the government that the Kenyan people do not like, or he's genuinely worried about the people spreading just misinformation about everyday activity.
If you take it generally, and you look at social media generally, then he has a point, right? But then if you want to look back at what has happened in the country, somebody would also say he wants to use it to tighten up, right? It's very difficult for me. I want, let's say they talk about him, I want to hear the truth, not the lies, because the outcome of the lies, sometimes I don't find the word, but it's dangerous. That's the word. It's extremely dangerous. Social media has ruined people that today, let's say somebody like Johnny Depp, for example. Look at the information the lady brought up, and then people took it on social media and they added stuff to it.
Yeah. Do you think President Ruto is just trying to safeguard his presidency or governance, or is he really genuinely concerned about misinformation with the ordinary person?
It'll be hard to say. Why is this only coming after the demonstration against his government? So anyone would be tempted to believe that he's doing this to stop people from communicating online about government business and
to the rest of the world.
But he could also be genuinely doing that to safeguard the ordinary person. But I think that barring all this, I think that although I don't like governments to control the internet, especially social media, I still think there should be some level of control.
Some sanity. Yeah.
Yes, because sometimes some of the things that people do on social media are crazy. They smear other people just because they have their phone in their hands and they have the internet, and you can post anything you want.
But isn't that what freedom of speech is about? Since as African countries, we're practicing democracy.
I don't think
and
there's
the rule of law and freedom of speech. Isn't that what it's about?
I don't think
saying
there's-
what you think and what you feel.
Yeah, that's what it's about. But I think even when you have freedom of speech, there must be a limit.
Then it's not really freedom of speech, is it?
But where your freedom starts or finishes, someone starts from there.
From there.
Exactly,
So-
but somebody's
so-
also gonna say, then why get on social media in the first place? If you want your sanity and your mental health to be in like the right place, why go on social media?
These days, you can't really, even if you don't go on social media and someone wants to smear you, they'll smear you.
Yeah, but that's what
Then
I'm saying. So we're
you have
talking
to
about
come out
social
there.
media specifically. Why are you on there if you cannot take the heat?
But why should you go on there and smear, like you lie on people, bring falsehood and all that? Why should you also go there just because you think you have freedom of speech?
Yeah, because that's
Then
what I'm
let's
saying.
do it on the streets, face to face.
No, but
Then
the thing is, like,
scream.
people, you're always gonna find crazy people, like in the midst of like, every
I get it.
single
We get it.
space.
So that is why I feel a little bit of sanity,
Censorship, right? Yeah.
censorship, and all those things are needed. Listen, some people. There are certain people they just want to be nuisance in society for life.
I do
Bogo
agree with you.
ideas.
Yeah, I do agree with you.
Yeah,
And trust me, I'm
for
on your
life.
side, but I'm just playing devil's advocate.
I get it. I get it.
No,
But
hold on. Gone were the days when it was fun and games, right? But now people have noticed they can make money on social media. So all they do is just come up with stuff just to get the likes and the views.
Yeah.
the clicks.
So yeah, they don't really care who it hurts or who it denigrates or whatever. They don't really care. So that's what I'm saying. Is it the average person's problem? Is it the whole social media craziness? So it's like social media, like the people in charge, whoever, like the internet guys or the Zuckerbergs and whoever, are they the ones who are supposed to be putting out this censorship?
Yes.
Or we just have to teach people how to behave on social media? I'm just conflicted.
I believe you can do it in two ways. Zuckerberg and their people, they can also control it a little bit to some extent, where it is a bit decent. Or you have governments that can say, okay, in our hood, in our country, we don't accept this thing. If a government can say, okay, I'll try and also censor my people, right? This country happens. It happens to some
I'm about to
extent.
say the same thing. I mean,
Yes.
China, right?
Yes, in China, it happens
massive censorship.
to some extent, and I believe they have a threshold. If you cross it, they will come after you, which is okay.
No, it actually gets delayed. It's not like they come after
Yeah,
you,
they
because I've seen
delete it. They will come
comments.
there and knock at your door.
There are videos, you watch it, the very next minute it's gone offline.
Yes,
Right?
yes. So there should be that form of even chatting, talking stuff. I believe it's okay because what do you think is good for you might not be good for me. But it doesn't mean I should not be there because you think that is how you want things to be
Yeah,
done.
I understand. So that's what I'm saying. My next question is gonna go to Eldo. That's what I'm saying. That we all know TikTok got banned. I think 24 hours or 48 hours. It was just a short period of time. But a lot of people started migrating to a Xiaohongshu, which is a local app in China, and they were all kind of amazed at how decent and respectful people were on the platform in China, right? But that's because the government censors it.
Yeah.
But the thing when it comes to countries like, Kenya or Ghana or the West, people are freedom of speech, a democracy. You cannot take that right from people. So it becomes really, really difficult to control. Because how do you how do you pretty much, convert the divide? But how do you put it together by saying you have the freedom of speech, but then again, you cannot say this or say that, right? It's very dicey. What do you think?
I think that, like you said, it's a very dicey thing. And I'll still stand by saying that no matter how much your laws allow for freedom of speech, there definitely should be some level of control. But I don't think that it is necessary for a government to come out and say that we are controlling, because once you bring the word out, it's going to make
everybody
blame you.
chaotic.
Yeah.
Why are my posts not being deleted? This is that. But if no one has come to tell you that they are deleting your posts, who are you going to
Here they've not told us. So
exactly.
If you don't see it next time, you move on.
You have nothing to watch. Yes, you move on.
Exactly.
So I think that sometimes governments make things worse by wanting to expose everything. If you know deep within you that you are trying to control or censor for the health of the nation, then you shouldn't put it out. Just do it in the background. Oh, I posted this thing, I woke up and it's gone. So who are you going to ask? Nobody.
There are certain countries, I think a couple of countries in Africa, they don't use Facebook.
Yeah, I don't know if it's Sudan or Somalia, one of them.
Yeah, some of the, I think one or two countries.
Yeah. I think Uganda too.
Yeah.
I think Uganda too.
About 2 or 3.
Yeah.
I've forgotten the names,
They
but
often
I know.
shut it down, yeah.
But the thing is, the people are okay. Here, we talk about China. They've created their own stuff. So the government kind of have a certain control. They've not said it, but you know. Right? So until we start creating our own stuff, where you don't need to come out and say, we are keeping an eye on you people, then the government, their hands are tied.
Yeah.
It is true. There will be people who point fingers saying, okay, because of what happened, right? But the truth is, we all know, we all know most of the social media platforms, and we see things that have been said about him, me, you, and other people. It's not nice. And you need somebody to just,
Yeah, I get it. But he also made a good point, a good reference to influencers, right? Now, like, people actually believe influencers more than the news or the government or the
these days that's the go-to.
Exactly, the right agencies that are supposed to be updating us on what's going on. So it's like that's also a problem because it's like influencers get paid. And they will take the money and say whatever it is you want them to say or project or put out there.
Most influencers get paid. Just put it that
Of course. I mean, that's why the influencers, they get paid.
Yeah.
So how do you think that is also affecting the state of social media?
I think that brings a lot of biased reportage because then because people have their eye on money, even if the influencer knows that this information is not true, or even if personally they wouldn't like to involve themselves in it, but because of the money involved, they will take the deal and do it. Or even if there's no deal, as long as it's hot news, they'll put their word in there just to spike it up, get the views and make money. So I think that whether they are paid or not, just for views, people will do that.
Yeah, but do you think it's, let's say as an influencer, is it their duty or responsibility to fact check before putting out stuff they're paid to do?
Listen, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I think
you go.
If there is no law stopping them, then money will make anyone do anything. So unless there's a law saying that if you report something wrongly or if you give wrong facts, you will be penalized for it.
Yeah, so do you really think this kind of like attitude from a government will be welcomed in Ghana? The Ghanaian government says they're going to crack down on online abuse, censor all these hateful speech. Because we did the last episode about the diplomatic passports, about Sarkozy and all these guys, but it's like it's all unfounded, right? It's got no basis. So is this something that you think the Ghanaian government should be looking into it as well?
I think something like that in Ghana will be very difficult because in Ghana democracy is such that it is not the people who usually fight back. It's usually the system, like the courts. That one I can give us some credit. Sometimes our courts are able to kick against certain things. In other countries, it's kind of difficult. But in Ghana, even though we have influence with the judges and all that, sometimes they can independently quash certain things. So, it's possible the government can propose that. But I think that it might be difficult to stand, looking at the way our system works.
Yeah. But last take, don't you think this is what social media is about regardless? Isn't it about expressing your thoughts, your ideas, your feelings and everything on there?
That is what it's about. But in everything, there should be limits, And yes, I agree, it will be difficult with a country like Ghana. It will be extremely difficult. But I always believe, there should be a little bit of control, just a little bit, to cut out certain things. There are certain things that are not important. And government and those owning those platforms needs to do better. That is what I feel. Yeah.
So in the end, basically, you guys are always saying that censorship and cracking down on social media is necessary?
Yeah, a little bit of it.
Even in a democratic country.
Yeah, a little bit of it.
Which freedom of speech is pretty much what the law says.
Yeah.
So the last question, I promise, is what is the limit? Is it just insults? Is it, how do you define hate speech or abuse? I mean, online. What needs to be censored? What needs to be cut out? Is it the insults? Is it just something that is unverified or unchecked?
Right. Let me just. I think that to define where you should censor will be difficult. If I'm in a place of position to do anything about something like that, I would say there should be certain rules saying that if you smear someone and it's proven to be wrong, then you can be legally penalized. I think if we do
but that's
that
defamation. I think that law already exists.
Yeah, defamation, yes, and also that's what I'm saying. There can be some parameters put in the law saying that you can go about your things. If you say something about someone which is factual, that's fine. But if you say something that defames or is false, then the person has the right to prosecute you.
Yeah, of course, I get that part.
Yeah, because if we're going to say what are we going to say is wrong or right, or
that's what I'm saying. That's where the line becomes difficult to draw.
Yeah, right.
Anything else?
I agree.
I think the same. I feel like, I mean, honestly, for me, if you ask me, I would be like, we just got to be nice to each other. You know what I mean? It's like we've been doing this podcast for a while now, and we never really call. I mean, we can call out people, but we always do it in a respectful manner, right? Because at the end of the day, you don't really know the people that well.
Right.
You might probably like them if you get to meet them, right? They might probably become your friends, but it's like, from afar, it's very easy to kind of like, say crap about people you've never met in real life. So I guess let's just be nice to each other. Even though you have something critical to say in a respectful manner. You can do that because we do that all the time, right? All right. So from DLS way, we really don't think it's necessary. I don't really think it's necessary for the crackdown. Just I feel like if you kind of like, we always say, sensitize people enough, like in China, right? When you go on, we're all on groups. On like online groups, WeChat, but it's very hardly would you see anybody like really dissing somebody or using like
you know why?
curse words and stuff like that.
You know why? Because this place.
Exactly.
You cross the line. They would
exactly. They might probably be like freeze your account or stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So everybody stays in line. So I guess we just gotta be nice, decent online. That's it. All right. So from us in Shanghai,
the social media, you are there to socialize.
We out, and we out. He talks too much. We out.
Peace.